Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us to Electrical and Computer Engineering Graduate Student Orientation for Fall 24, as well as Summer 24. Before we start, I need to go through some procedures that we need to follow, and then we will get on with our presentation here. First, keep your microphone muted. This will help keep the noise level down. And in case if there are multiple people that have unmuted microphones, it may interrupt the presentation. If you did not send an RSVP in the web form, please write to us, email me or whoever within the graduate department for us to send you the information via email. I am recording this presentation, so a recording of this will be available to you. As far as questions are concerned, please do not ask the questions during the presentation. At the end, we will have time for question and answer. If you want to type your questions in the chat box, please go ahead and do that. But please keep it to the simple questions. Long questions are difficult to type and answer via the chat. So please keep that to that level. Okay. With that, let me just give you an agenda for this presentation. We will have a welcome message from our department head, Professor Dinesh Bhatia, and then we will talk about the ISSO. This is International Student Scholar Office presentation. This is a very important step for you to go through before you arrive here. So we like you to get to know the people and then find out about all the issues with the international students. I'm going to talk about Office of Graduate Education. This is an important office that deals with your degree, anything that you do in this school. So we will talk about all the issues that you need to be aware of. We're going to give you an overview of the Johnson School ECE program, in particular the electrical engineering and computer engineering and telecom engineering. And then we talk about the areas of concentration. And I'm going to give you some instruction about registration. Please pay close attention to that because we often get questions that we have already gone through here. So please do pay close attention. And then we're going to have some question and answer. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn the microphone to Professor Dinesh Bhatia, our illustrious department head, so for him to give a message to everyone. Dinesh?
Thank you, Professor Cameron KSLI, and welcome everyone. I understand most of you are joining from all over the world. So good day to you. It is about 9 o'clock here in Dallas, Texas, and I am really happy and glad to be with you this morning. What I'm going to do is share my about 4 or 5 slides to just give you a quick introduction about the department and what we offer. But I will also go ahead and type my email address in a little bit in the chat, and you're welcome to send a message, interact with me, and I'm happy to talk to you. So here we go. Just give me a moment.
If I may add, please turn off your cameras as well, not to distract the presentation, please.
I hope my slides are visible to you. Uh, Cameron, can you confirm, please?
Yes, let me see. It just
Okay.
disappeared,
So
but for a moment it appeared and then disappeared, I guess.
is it there or not yet?
No, it's not.
Ah, um, I don't know. Something is it is pushing from my side. It is pushing on the screen. Um,
We can see, sir.
you can.
Yes, sir. You can proceed.
Wonderful. So you probably, in any case, I will speak to you if even if it's not visible. Welcome to the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. We are an interesting university. For those of you who do not know, our history is that we are very, very young university, and we were started out as what I call to people is an upside down university. We started out as a postdoctoral research institute. We added the PhD program, then we added the master's program, and then the undergraduate program. So our existence is very deeply rooted in research-based education, and our founders of the university and the department are the same as the founders of Texas Instruments. We are located physically very, very close to the Texas Instruments headquarters in Dallas, Texas, and we are a tier 1 research university. So to quickly give you a snapshot of the department, currently the department has two major programs, the graduate program in electrical engineering and computer engineering. Overall, they are both ranked in top around 50s, and in the public institutions in the United States, we are ranked around 30th in electrical engineering as well as computer engineering. We are a mid-sized department with about 52 faculty members, 39 tenure track faculty members, 13 instructional faculty. Our faculty are very well known for their work and their research. About 18 faculty members that are fellows of various societies, including IEEE, ABS, and so on. Two members of National Academy of Inventors, and some of our new young faculty have been very successful in obtaining what are called as some of the most prestigious awards like the Career and the Young Investigator Awards. And there are 13 faculty members who hold what I call as the named endowed chairs in the department. To give you some idea on the size of the department, we have three programs: electrical engineering, computer engineering, and telecommunications engineering. Telecommunications engineering exists only at master's and PhD level. There are close to about 1,000 undergraduate, which is the bachelor's level students, half and half between electrical engineering and computer engineering. About 300 master students, again split about half and half between double E and computer engineering. And we are one of the largest PhD programs in the country with about more than 200 funded PhD students in the department. So this is something which is we are very proud of. For those of you who are coming in for electrical engineering degree, the department offers 5 different concentrations. You will hear about those, but just to give you a quick snapshot of, we offer circuits, computing systems, computing at extremes of both performance, energy, and what I call as the really like low energy devices. And especially in the area and the era of artificial intelligence, this is becoming a very, very important area. Semiconductor devices is again becoming very, very important. Some of you might have heard of a very famous act called as the Chips for America Act. So semiconductor education is becoming very important worldwide. Power electronics and energy system, and that's where we look at power, energy, transportation electrification, wireless energy transfer. And finally, one of our larger areas is the signals and systems, where also Dr. Cameron belongs. And that's where we look at signal processing, image processing, speech, wireless communications, machine learning, and so on. What we noticed is that our department, we are actually starting to apply AI-based methods across the department in pretty much all the areas. So the department has been now very actively building very strong cross-cutting AI curriculum. So you will see fundamental courses in machine learning, deep learning, data preparation, and analysis. Finally, those of you who might be coming in for computer engineering degree, which is something that we almost completely restructured about a year and a half ago, we offer two streams. First one is what is called as the applied machine learning. Computer engineering is interesting degree in the sense that some of the courses, about half the courses, can actually come from the computer science department, and we work very collaboratively with that department. So applied machine learning and ever important and increasingly important embedded and VLSI systems. So those are the two concentrations that are available in the area of computer engineering. I quickly wanted to give you a snapshot of we are a very, very young and very, very modern campus. If you will come here, you will find that our buildings, whatever is inside the buildings in terms of our facilities, are very, very modern and state of the art. So Johnson School has 6 departments: computer science, electrical and computer engineering, mechanical engineering, systems engineering, material science, and bioengineering. So when you come in, there are very good active learning spaces that are available all across the school. And finally, I also, slides are again stuck. Quickly wanted to share with you in the last couple of years, some of the very big names have been on campus to hire the students. Students have been very, very successful in getting placed at some of the top companies. Something that we really boast about, especially those who are coming in for electrical engineering. There are areas within electrical engineering where we have very, very niche programs in the areas of circuits. And if you were to go to places like, say, for example, Apple, then pretty much the whole front-end design, which is essentially the RF circuits, antenna, and so on, is all populated by UTD circuits, UTD students. So we are very proud of our relationships as well as our students getting placed into some of the topmost companies in the United States. So with that, I will stop and welcome today to this orientation. And I hope that you will be able to get your visa and be here on time. And I'm looking forward to welcoming you when you come here on campus. But in the meantime, please feel free to reach out anytime if you have any questions. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I still have 2 people that their camera is on. May I ask you to turn off your cameras? We just want to make sure that people don't get overwhelmed with the information. I think one of them is Arif Mahmoud, and the other person is unknown user. Please turn off your cameras. Okay. I guess you're not able, Arif, cannot turn off your turn off your camera.
Yes, actually, I am trying to figure out from where to turn off the camera, but let me see.
If you are using Teams, it's on the top right corner of your screen. If you have a camera, you can just turn it off. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn the microphone to Ms. Jennifer Garcia, who's going to talk to you guys about ISSO and its function. All right, okay. Jennifer.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you to the department for having me here today. As mentioned, my name is Jennifer Garcia. I am one of the assistant directors here at the ISSO office. So I will go ahead and get started with my part of the presentation. Okay, so for most of you, you've already been admitted. Congratulations. The next step, if you have not already taken it, is to obtain your I-20. So the Form I-20, if you are an international student, is a requirement that you will need in order to study here in the United States. We've issued over 700 I-20s already for both summer and fall, and we're getting more and more every day. And so the sooner that you can do that, the better it is for you to move along in the process. If you've already submitted an application, it's going to be completed soon. We're working through them as fast as we can. Our current processing time is around 3 to 5 business days. So we are issuing those I-20s fairly quickly. I would recommend, if you haven't already, and you'll see throughout the slideshow, a lot of this information you can find on our website. So if you just type in UTD I-20 into the search bar, you'll find our website with a lot of information. But in order to apply for the I-20, you will need to do so through iComet. It's a portal that we use for different services here at the ISSO that you can request online, and that's where you'll be able to apply for the I-20 under F1 Initial I-20 Request. Okay, the next step after receiving your I-20 is to apply for the F1 visa. I'm sure a lot of you have heard from family, friends, maybe seniors about the F1 visa process. So that's the next step after you obtain the I-20. You'll want to, of course, verify the information that's on your I-20. We do send those to you electronically signed to your UT Dallas email. So if you have not set up your UT Dallas email, make sure to do that because that's where we send a lot of our communication to. So once you have your I-20, verify the information, you'll want to pay the I-901 fee. Now that fee does not go to our office or the university. That is a required fee of the US government that you will need to pay before your visa interview. So please make sure to pay that as soon as you can. We start sending out communications to students about 60 days before the start of classes if you have not paid. And 30 days before the start of classes, if you still have not paid, then your CVIS record and I-20 will be canceled. So it is a crucial step to make sure that you complete after you get your I-20. The next step after that is to complete the DS-160 online non-immigrant application. Now, again, this is online. You will need to complete this before scheduling an appointment. We tell students on this application to be honest and thorough. You are able to download a copy afterwards. This will be used along with the visa interview to determine your eligibility for the visa. So again, making sure that you're moving along with these steps and answering as honestly and as appropriately as you can will be beneficial for you in your visa interview. And then, of course, the next step, which I'll get more into the next slide, is demonstrating that you are a bona fide student with non-immigrant intent. The F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa, which means that after you complete your program in the US, your intent at the time of the interview is to return back to your home country. So you need to make this very clear to the visa officer during your visa interview that that is your intent, that you are a student, you have a plan to obtain a US degree at UT Dallas, and then you have plans to return back to your home country once that is completed. As of early last year, the Department of State did mention that they revised some of their policies about issuing visas, so they can now issue 365 days before your program start date. So if something happens, you're not able to attend for either summer or fall, and you push that to a future semester, you can still, once you gain that admission, you can still get the I-20 and apply for the visa that far in advance so that you're not rushing and trying to complete everything in a hurry. Okay, our next slide is about visa interview preparation. So our office has a lot of resources for you to use. One of our newest services that we are offering here at the ISSO is mock visa interview preparation. Now, what this looks like, we have two different ways to service you. There's a one-on-one appointment, and there's group sessions, and we just go over more detailed information of what the visa interview will look like, how you can best prepare. We have time for questions and answers if you have any specific questions you'd like to ask about how to prepare for the visa interview. And again, you can find that on our website with the dates and times. We do it by region. So we have a region for India, we have a region for Africa, Asia, and Central and South America. So make sure that you visit our website to see more about the dates for those services. Also on our website, we have a list of the documents you'll be required to take with you at your visa interview. So make sure that you are prepared with all the documents. That includes going to the consulate or embassy's website to see if there's any further instructions or requirements that you need to complete, as every embassy and consulate is a little bit different in that. You'll want to prepare for the interview with the different types of questions you'll be asked. So I think a lot of students tend to focus on the financial aspect of them being a student, and that's just one small part of it. The consular officer can ask you various questions about academics, specifically maybe what you've studied previously. They might ask you why you chose UT Dallas, why are you studying in this program? So you want to be prepared to answer those types of questions. Of course, financial. So if you've taken out a loan, if you have a scholarship, an assistantship, they might ask you questions about that, and other things regarding your immigration history and then ties to your home country. So we do have a list available, a PDF list available for you to review the types of questions they could be asked and to give you a chance to practice. Now, as you are preparing, we always tell students to be honest and as confident as you can and communicate clearly. I understand it is a very nervous situation going in there. You all really want the visa, of course. So make sure that you are prepared as you can be and that you are confident going in, knowing that you are a student, you have a plan, and you have this goal to study here at UT Dallas. Now, hopefully, if all things go well, your visa gets approved, and then now you can focus on traveling and being admitted to the US. Now, you cannot arrive more than 30 days before your program start date. There's no exception to this. Our office cannot provide an exception. The department cannot provide an exception to this. This is a strict regulation from the US government. That information can be found on your I-20 when you can start arriving. And we do recommend arriving early, as there are many things that our international students need to complete once they arrive here. As you are preparing to arrive, know that you will need to carry your documents with you, almost the same documents that you took with you to your visa appointment. Make sure not to put those in your suitcase and your luggage. Make sure they are with you on your person when you arrive. And they may ask you similar questions as they did at the visa interview, such as what is your purpose here? What do you plan on studying? Things like that. Something important to keep in mind is that even though you have the I-20, you have admission to UT Dallas, you have the visa, that does not guarantee you entry into the United States. That is completely at the discretion of the CBP officer. So again, it's very important that you are prepared when you arrive here at the US with your documentation and those answers to the questions they might ask you. We have a helpful, it's about a 4-minute video about what you can expect entering the US for the first time at the port of entry. A very important tip to remember is to check your I-94. Your I-94, it's an electronic documentation that confirms your legal entry into the US as an F1 student. You can find it as soon as you've been admitted fully to the US. They say, welcome to the US, come on in. That's going to be automatically updated. You can check it online using the airport's Wi-Fi. Make sure that you check the information is correct, such as the spelling of your name. If you find an error, you can ask for assistance with one of the CBP officers so they can correct that issue before you leave. The airport is quite a distance away from the university, and so we want to make sure that you can get that done and not have to go back to the airport in order to correct it. Planning ahead for your travel. So if Dallas is not your first stop in your itinerary, let's say you're stopping in New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, you want to plan ahead just in case something does not go as planned. So if for whatever reason, let's say you did not bring your documentation, the CBP officer cannot confirm some of your information, you will be put into something called secondary inspection. And that's where they will take you to another room to ask you additional questions and just confirm your identity. This can take 20 minutes to several hours. And so if Dallas, again, is not your first stop, then you will want to make sure that you plan ahead and not put your flights back to back. Give yourself a little bit of time to prepare in case something like that does happen to you. Okay, registering for classes. So some students in some departments are able to register a little bit early. You can check for holds in Galaxy. The department will be able to tell you if they're the one who has the hold on your account, what you need to do to be able to clear the hold and register for classes. If you register early, remember to drop your classes if your plans change. You are financially responsible for those classes once you register. So it's very important if for whatever reason your visa was denied or something comes up, we never know what can happen. Make sure that you drop those classes as soon as possible. This also gives a chance for other students to enroll in those classes that were perhaps on a waiting list as well. But again, very important, you are financially responsible if you choose to register early for those classes. Enrollment requirements, very, very important for our international students to be aware of the requirements that you are obligated to fulfill as an F1 student. So for graduate students is what we're going to focus on here. Undergrad as well, 12 credit hours every long semester. So that means spring and fall. Unless it is your first semester, then summer is usually not required. For graduate students, that's going to be 9 credit hours per semester, and at least 6 of those need to be face-to-face. Again, this is a requirement of the government that you must make sure that you are keeping track of, talking with your department, talking with the ISSO. So as you can see here, a graduate student, they enrolled in 9 credit hours, and then 3 of those are online. That's meeting the enrollment requirements because you need to take at least 6 of those face-to-face. Hybrid courses are considered online courses, so make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you are starting to think more about registering for classes in your upcoming semester. I did want to provide a brief timeline for fall specifically. We do have other timelines available for our summer students. So as you can see, June 20th is when we'll start sending out communications about the I-901 fee if you have not paid. July 20th is going to be the earliest date that you can arrive for fall. Of course, that date is going to be different for summer. Our classes do start on the 19th, and at that time, you'll want to make sure that you've completed the check-in requirements for international students with our office. As was mentioned at the beginning of the presentation about arriving on time, very important that you do your best to arrive on time. Arriving even a day late can put you at risk of being denied entry into the US. And so even with our allowance of arriving perhaps a week, we don't recommend it as it just puts you already behind the rest of your classmates here. You're already missing classes. There's important things that you need to complete before you can even take those classes. So again, arriving on time is quite crucial. If anything changes that you cannot arrive on time, you'll need to request to defer your admission to a future semester. Once that's been approved, then you can go ahead and request a deferred I-20 with our office. And then you'll just want to let the appropriate campus offices know about your change of plans, or if you decide to take the risk and arrive at a later time. Checking in with our office. So this, again, is a requirement of the government that you report to our office. And by reporting to our office, all this process is done online. We refer to this as the new student check-in. And there are 3 steps, so it's very easy for you to complete this. Make sure that you do this once you do arrive. You'll want to update your local address and phone number in Galaxy. Next, you'll want to attend a Maintaining F1 workshop. This is a requirement of all international students, and it is separate from the new international student orientation. So those are two separate orientations or workshops that you'll need to attend, and you will need to do both. The one for the ISSO is called the Maintaining F1 Status Workshop. And then you'll need to submit those documents in iComment. So there's a check-in function in iComment where you'll submit your visa, your I-94, and a hand-signed I-20. So make sure that you have all of those documentations after you've completed step 1 and 2, and then you'll be registered and good to go with the ISSO. So very important steps to follow as you are arriving here for your upcoming semester. Contacting us, there's lots of ways for you to contact us if you have any questions. We do offer live chat most days out of the week with an advisor. You can schedule a one-on-one Teams appointment. We have an Ask an Advisor e-form that's fairly similar to sending an email. And then we do have group chats available as well for you to attend. So lots of ways for you to get in contact with the ISSO. All right, well, thank you so much again to the department. Thank you all so much for having me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the ISSO. We are here to help you and assist you in any way that we can. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening or day wherever you are in the world. Thank you.
You're on mute, Cameron.
Thank you. I gotta be careful there. All right, I was just gonna say thank you, Jennifer, for the presentation. I just want to make sure that you all understand there are steps here involved in getting here, and also for how you manage your classes and how you deal with registration. We're going to go through that. Please pay attention to these steps. Sometimes people try not to follow them, and at their own demise. All right. Okay, I just want to say one more time, there is one person that his camera still is on. And I'm just trying to say that we can see your face and we can see whatever you do in your room. So I would suggest turn the camera off. This person is an unknown user and has a blue shirt, and I can see you. So I don't know why he doesn't see himself, but if you're seeing yourself in the presentation, please turn your camera off. Okay, so let's talk about the Office of Graduate Education. Now, this office has a very, very important function. You don't get your degree without this office. These are the folks that actually look at your degree plan, what you have done, and then they verify, they certify your degree. And because of that, they play a very important function in the process of advising. So what we advise you, what we tell you throughout your stay here is for this purpose, for the purpose of complying with what Office of Graduate Education considers somebody who's certifiable for their degree that they're getting. These are the folks there leading this office is the Dean Juan Gonzalez. He is the head, and then there are staff that you see here that will deal with the issues related to your degree. And as you can tell, their function ranges from anything in the graduate program, ranging from a master's degree all the way to the PhD. So even the formatting of thesis approval is done by this office. So you will be in contact with this office at some point in your stay here. If you are a PhD student, probably toward the end of your degree, but if you're a master's student in the second semester where you are doing verification of your, or at least some people within 2 or 3 semesters get close to graduation, so you will deal with this office. The one thing I would like to point out, if you get an email from them, do not ignore it. I have been told that you are getting emails from everyone. Lots of email will come your way. Do follow up with the emails from OGE. They do hold seminars, which is going to be very useful. So please spend some time attending those, and that will help you tremendously. And here's more information about about OGE. Okay, so and if you want to use your mobile devices, you can actually scan these QR codes. So what we're going to do next, we're going to look at the ECE department, which, as Professor Bhatia pointed out, we have two programs. One is electrical engineering, and the other one is computer engineering. And we have different discipline, or I should say concentrations, within them. So it's important to see what you have selected. Now, it is, if you're a CE, admitted as a CE student, you must stay with the CE program and concentrations. If you're in EE, you have 5 options as far as concentration is concerned. So we're going to go through that now. As far as the department administration is concerned, we have 3 associate department heads assisting Professor Bhatia in his role. It's me, and then Professor Naful Al-Dahir dealing with undergraduate affairs, and Professor Nusratinia, who deals with the classroom teaching and scheduling of the classes. On the dean's level, we have, of course, our dean, Stephanie Adams, and Dr. Boris Balsara is a vice dean. We have Professor Hansen. He is Associate Dean for Research, and Professor Joshua Summers, who deals with undergraduate education affairs at the dean's level. At the university level, we have Dr. Richard Benson, which is our president. We have Dr. Inga Musselman, who is the provost. And as we saw, Dr. Juan Gonzalez, which is Dean of Graduate Studies. And we have Josephine Vita, who is the Director of International Student Services. Okay, so what is our mission? Well, it's always good to have a mission statement, and this is our mission statement. And we do mean every sentence in this mission statement. Our graduates are uniquely qualified to rewarding career and diverse fields of electrical engineering. And it is truly diverse. Our ECE program is quite diverse. We are training master's students to be productive and leaders in their field. So please understand that you were an undergraduate student. At this point, you're moving into a graduate program, which is a higher level of a standard, perhaps more rigorous treatment of the topics that you have seen. And as you saw from the ISSO presentation, it was mentioned that you are required to take 9 hours, which is 3 classes. Now that sounds not too many classes for graduate students, because you were used to taking 9. Some people taking 5 or 6 classes as an undergraduate. So that tells you the level of rigor in these classes, that 3 graduate classes is considered as a full load. So please bear that in mind as you get prepared to sign up for classes. Now, one of the things that's going to happen during these presentations, please pay attention about the mechanics behind registering for classes, about getting advising. This is very, very important, because you are not allowed to just go ahead and sign up for classes for fall. The first semester requires you to have a signature of an advisor on your degree plan, as well as the your registration form. After the first semester, you are able to register for classes yourself. So I get a lot of questions about how do I register for classes? When do I do it? So throughout this presentation, that should come through. If you are still in doubt, please ask questions at the end of the presentation so we can clarify that. So let's get on with the areas of area of studies. And I think at this point, I'm going to turn the microphone to Professor Randy Lehman. Randy, you're here, or Matthew Hines. I don't know which one of you guys want to make presentation. Randy, do you want to do that?
I think Matt is on tap to do this.
All right, so let's have Professor Matthew Hines take us through the different areas of electrical engineering. By the way, as you see them, these are the folks that are do advising. And very most likely, they will be your advisor. So please, I want you to also see them, relate the name to the face for the future. All right, Matthew, please go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Kiesala. And yes, as Professor Kiesala mentioned, my name is Matt Hines. I'm one of the faculty in the EC department and also graduate advisor for the EE majors, along with Dr. Lehman, who you just heard also. So what I'm going to do is introduce the areas of study within EE, and then CE are going to be presented separately. So we have 5 concentration areas, of which you must choose one for your degree plan. And it's important to get off to a good start and have a well thought out idea of what you want to select. You are able to change it if you decide to move a different direction as you get involved with the school. But I'm going to go through one by one, so hopefully you get a good understanding of each. So the first one is circuits, and the circuits concentration involves 3 broad areas in digital, analog, and RF and microwave circuits. Along with the other concentrations, you're going to see that we have 3 courses required. Those are your core courses. We suggest you take those early on. And you can see there are also many, many elective courses and opportunities to get involved in research and very important applications of circuits. So next, please. And then as far as the profile within our school, we have very many faculty that are both teaching courses, conducting research that you can get involved with as a master's student or PhD student. And then we have a very strong array of companies here that you can see listed here, some of the major companies in the area of circuits amongst different disciplines with analog, digital, and RF. That give you great opportunities for your career in both the internships and your career once you graduate. So moving on to devices, I think as was mentioned earlier by Professor Bhatia, this is a hot area in terms of investment from our country, and we need trained engineers involved with the fabrication of devices to power those circuits and systems. In this particular area, we also have a broad educational component with fields and waves, physical electronics, and semiconductor processing technology. And again, many electives to choose from to choose your own path in this domain. Looking at research that's going on, we have an array of research in devices, MEMS devices, sensors, plasmas, semiconductors. We're adding new faculty and have added new faculty in this area. And you can see some of the major device manufacturers that have fabrication facilities locally and others that are actively engaging and hiring our students. Looking to power electronics and energy system, it's also a very important area, as you probably understand from the criticality of our energy needs worldwide. We have broad discipline here as well. The 3 core courses you can see mentioned here in power, machines, control modeling, etc. There are many applications which you can see listed to the left. And if we go to the next slide, please, you can see from a research perspective, we've also added faculty recently to broaden the research horizons, but you can see applications amongst many disciplines here with power electronics, motors, transportation, distributed power, and energy management and harvesting. So give you an opportunity to get really in depth and understand and participate in that research. Then we have signals and systems. I think this was also mentioned by Dr. Bhatia as a strength area for the school. Here we have required core courses that give you fundamentals of your probability and statistics, and then also in communications and signal processing, which are the key areas of discipline and research for this area. And you can see on the left side the different applications associated with signals and systems. So again, we have a broad faculty, and it was already mentioned the sort of the categories of this concentration in terms of application, including wireless communication. And then also on the signals processing side, we have a strong focus on speech processing, image processing, and machine learning, which are very important areas currently. And then we can see here just a wide array of research labs that you can participate in. So these are all labs that are managed and by various professors in the department. And you can get involved. You can look at their websites and see how you can get engaged as part of your research. And lastly, we have computing systems. So this is on the EE side of the computing side, more on the hardware aspects. This is also very sort of interdisciplinary. We have core courses here, which are very fundamental to that particular discipline. And there's an array of courses that can be taken also on the EE side and in the computer science side that can help you broaden and continue your pursuit of this discipline. So I think that's it from my side on EE side, and I think I'll pass it to Marco, Dr. Taka, who is going to present computer engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Before we just go to Marco, I just want to point out, as you folks are looking at this, I guess these different areas, please note that we have what is called core classes. And that should be on your radar. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to try to take care of those courses very early on. Most of my job here has been dealing with people who didn't, and now they're in their third semester, and they have to spend one more semester here on their fourth semester because they didn't take those classes, assuming that somehow magically they can ignore it. So please pay attention to this. Work with your advisor, and remember, it is perfectly fine to seek advice from your colleagues, from your cohorts, from your friends, from people who have been at UTD before. But I really encourage you to work with your advisors, and instead of trying to take control of your degree plan and make changes that somehow will not be able to result in graduation in time. All right. So with that, let me see. Do we have is it Marco or Diana? Which one? Who is going to make the presentation? Is it?
Whichever. I can go.
Okay. All right. So we have Professor Marco Taka. He is going to. He's one of the CE advisors, and he's going to talk about the CE program. Marco.
All right. Good morning or afternoon or evening, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Chiasalè. Right, so computer engineering is another program at UT Dallas in the EC department. As Dr. Chiasalè was mentioning earlier, you see that document at the bottom right of the slide that's called a degree plan. It's a very important document that you will need to fill in as you start your career or study for your graduate studies. And it's essentially a table with all your classes. And as Dr. Chiasalè mentioned, it's divided into core classes and elective, and core classes are the ones at the top, and those need to be completed no matter what. They cannot be waived or skipped. And as Dr. Chiasalè was saying, it's very strongly recommended that those classes are you take those classes as early as possible in your time of study, for the reason that if you don't have them, you you will not graduate, and you might have to extend the duration of your study, as well as core classes in a lot of situations are prerequisites for electives. So if you don't have a core class, you might not be able to choose the elective that you want. And in computer engineering, there are three main groups of as far as degree plan. You can be embedded systems, you can be embedded system and VLSI system, you can be applied machine learning, or you can be what, for a lack of a better name, we call NaN, which means a general type of degree without any specific concentration area. Core classes for these three concentration areas are going to be the same. What changes is the recommended list of electives that you can choose, depending on the concentration area that you choose. So you see there on the slide the requirements, and again, as you start choosing your classes for your first semester, you will have to talk to me or Dr. Kogan, and we can go a little bit more in details about what your specific plan is. And of course, computer engineering is very popular, so there are very strong connections to all the various high-tech companies, both local and not local, in terms of structuring the curriculum, and there is a lot of activities in terms of research on campus. As you saw from the classes listed, the peculiar thing about computer engineering is that it's inherently an interdisciplinary course of study, where you're not siloed into the EE department, but some of the classes branch out to all the way to the CS department. So it gives you a little bit of in-between visibility across the traditional electrical engineering program and the traditional computer science program. The next program, I think we can go to the next slide.
I think I lost my slide for a second, please. Let's see.
Oh, no worries.
Just please give me a second. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So the next program is telecommunication engineering, and in a lot of ways, telecommunication engineering is similar to computer engineering in the fact that it's an interdisciplinary program where you will take classes both from electrical engineering department as well as computer science. The main difference between computer engineering and telecommunication engineering is the focus of those classes, where telecommunication engineering is more, as the name says, is more focused towards telecommunications. And again, similar structure to all the other areas. Your plan of study is split between core classes and electives. And as far as telecommunication engineering, there are 5 core classes that you need to take. Again, you can see 2 of those are come from the EE department, 2 come from the CS department, and 1 is a TE class. And then what can you expect from telecommunication engineering? You can expect studying about networks, digital communication. One of the buzzwords nowadays is Internet of Things, IoT. Software-defined networks is another buzzword that has been around for a little bit longer than IoT. And there is a wide range of research efforts that are happening on campus in the area of telecommunication engineering. There is quite a bit of corporate engagement with fairly large companies, actually large companies that are in the DFW Metroplex that interact actively with faculty doing research on campus. I think that's all on my side. I can pass the talking back to you, Dr. Chiesale. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. All right, so I guess we are now seeing the concentration areas for our department. I just want to point out again the importance of working with your advisor and what the structure looks like. And one of the points that becomes an issue is that is the issue of prerequisites. Now, we will throughout this presentation talk about that as well. The fact that you have been admitted to the master's program does not mean that you can take any course you want in the graduate program. You have to look at the prerequisite for those classes. So that brings to forefront the importance of the advising to underscores the importance of advising. As you sit in with your advisors and you come up with your degree plan for what you are going to do here next year and a half or 2 years, you come up with a list of courses that you have to take. Some of them are core that you cannot change. Some of them are electives. It is important for you, and this is not something that your advisor will do for you. This is something you have to do. Take a look at those courses. You can go to our website, type in the name of the course or the number of the course. It will come up with a catalog description. It shows what are the prerequisites. Some of these prerequisites you may not have had. So can you take those classes? The answer is no. You have to go and take that undergraduate class to take this graduate class. Now, I understand that's complicated and sometimes results in headaches and delays. There are exceptions. Prerequisite is very important, but there are cases that a student can waive that prerequisite. We'll talk about how to do that a little bit later. And the only way to waive it is that if you had extensive experience outside the school. For instance, if you have never had a course on RF engineering, but after you graduated from your undergraduate school degree, and when you got your BS degree, you went out and worked as an RF engineer for 5 years. There is no reason for you to take the RF class as an undergraduate to fulfill the prerequisite. So there are situations like this, but what the point I'm trying to make is that after these presentations, please give it a good thought as to what you are going to do, what concentration you're going to follow, and work with your advisors that you have heard from them to plan your degree plan and figure out what you have to do next. So with that, let's move on to different degrees that we offer. Of course, we have a MS degree that is non-thesis option. Majority of the students fall into this category. There are 2 concentrations. You require 30 semester credit hours, which is based on what we know is 10 classes. And then in this case, you have a bit of a freedom how you're going to manage those 10 classes. As you saw, most concentrations have about 3, maybe 4, some cases in the case of TEs 5 core classes, but the rest is electives, and you have seen the degree plans, how they work. So for the thesis option, some people choose to do the thesis. You must have a graduate thesis advisor. We won't assign it for you. You can't come to me and say, assign a thesis advisor. A professor here in this school has to take you under his or her wing, trying to support you or trying to do a master thesis with you. So the structure is slightly different. You can see that you can take some research hours. For the non-thesis option, you can still take 3 credit hours of research if you like. For the case of thesis, it can be up to 9. Semester credit hours, 6 of thesis and 3 hours of research. And you have to write a thesis. So if you're interested in the thesis option, please speak with me and also speak with the professor is trying to supervise you. We have a link here for graduate catalog, which describes the requirements in detail, so you can go through it. You don't need to for me to go through it here. You can actually observe that and go through that. The degree plans are all out there, electronic format. You can actually download them. And I want you to spend some time reading official rules of the university. Very often we get questions and people try to have exceptions to the university rules. That usually is complicated. Anytime you're trying to do something that is against university policy requires a petition, but at the end of the day, there is a possibility of getting denied. So best thing to do, best practice is to stay away from this and follow the guidelines of the university, as opposed to try to constantly petition your way through things. Although it's possible, but my point is, please understand what are the rules of the university. Now, here's an example of a degree plan, for instance, for computer engineering. You can see that we have courses up here. These are core classes you have to take. And then you have selected electives, that approved electives. Is not every class, is a set of classes that we have approved. There's a list available online. You can take a look, and your advisor can certainly do that. Take a look at this and see that there's 2 places for signature. Your signature and your advisor's signature. This needs to be signed. This needs to be done before the semester starts, before you register, in fact. So the first semester, you actually have to have this one signed. And again, in the case of, if you want to do registration, I think web registration deadline is March 25th. It's coming up. But if you choose to register later, you still have to have this done and submitted to us. So we need to have this degree plan. Now, of course, the question is that what if I want to change this later on? Yes, you can. You can change it, change your electives, but it would be an incredibly bad practice to do it on your own. We have seen that happen. A student does the change this, and then here comes the final semester, which you have to do a final degree plan, and some of the courses are not accepted. And now you're sitting on the last semester here, planning to graduate, and you have a job lined up. And then what happens is that Office of Graduate Education said this is not acceptable because it doesn't meet the criteria that we set. So please work with your advisor. They are very generous with their time. They will meet with you. If you want to make a change to this and get their approval, you don't have to file a degree plan, just get their approval on what you're trying to do or the changes you want to make. And here's a perfect example of why you should work with your advisor. If you look at this list of core classes, the third one says CE 6320. Everybody see that? If you don't, please let me know. Now, this is a class that was, we created this class for the new CE degree plan. Now, this is a required class, and it's offered once a year in fall. So I recommend that in this fall semester, you take this class. It doesn't have any prerequisite, as you can tell. There is no excuse not to taking it this fall. There are people who just say, well, I have a friend who graduated from UTD in the CE program, and he took CS 6363. And that's a computer science class that used to be a replacement for CE 6320. Used to be, because at that time we were not offering 6320. As of fall of 23, we no longer accept CS 6363. So this individual just went ahead based on the advice of his buddy from previous years, took that course. Now he is in his last semester trying to graduate, and his degree plan is rejected by the Office of Graduate Education. Simply because instead of talking to people that you should talk to, he was talking to his friends. And I'm not arguing that being, talking to your friends or your classmates is detrimental, but sometimes it causes problem for you because the rules change, the degree plans change. So one of the things that I've seen, people do not, either for whatever reason, don't take CE 6320, and I don't have any good estimate why. Some people were saying the students are advised to take certain classes that will get them an internship. We do understand you like to get an internship, but at the cost of delaying your graduation for one semester, even losing a job offer that you had, planned. So take this class first. So this is an example of why advising is important and why you have to actually follow the advising that we give. Okay, so and this is the degree plans for other areas. As you can see, for the EE areas, you can see there are some core classes, but mainly there are a lot of blank spaces for the electives that you can choose, but choose carefully. Now let's talk about the PhD program. PhD students and PhD degree is quite different than master's degree here. PhD degree here is a research-based degree, meaning what? Meaning that majority of time here is spent doing research. You still have to sign up for 9 hours of research. A PhD student can't survive here without a faculty advisor, meaning that if you just show up here and you got an admission and you do not have a thesis advisor, I would suggest you hit the ground running before you get here. Line up a faculty member who's willing to work with you on your research project, because that is very critical to your success. If you do not have a PhD advisor, technically after third semester, you will be dismissed because your PhD admission is actually a conditional admission, that you actually pass the qualifying exam in the first 3 semesters. So, and that requires that you have a PhD advisor that is guiding you through that process. And I have to emphasize this because we have had people who are under the impression that this is like a master's degree. I get admitted, I show up here, take some classes, and then I graduate. This doesn't work like that. You have 75 hours of semester credit hour beyond BS that you have to generate, but all of that is research. And the qualifying exam, as is listed here, there are 2 parts to this exam. The first part has to do with passing 2 classes here, not transferred, non-formal classes that your advisor recommends. And you have to get a grade of B+ or better. The second part is that you have to make a presentation on a research topic that your advisor has chosen. It doesn't have to be original research. This has to be a way of demonstrating that you're able to conduct research. So you read scholarly work and you make a presentation. So all of this has to happen within the first 3 semesters. So if you're here the first semester and don't have an advisor or looking for an advisor, based on the immigration policy, if you're an international student, you have to sign up for 9 credit hours. You need an advisor to take you under his or her wing. So please work with someone here to find an advisor. Now, if you haven't been able to find an advisor, I can be technically your advisor for the first few semesters until you pass your qualifying exam. But please understand that I will not be able to financially support you. So you must have financial support to get I-20 anyways, but I will be able to do that if you have not been able to identify a PhD advisor. All right, so, and again, technically you need 2 classes to take, and the rest it would be research. We recommend that the students do take other classes along with their research that they're doing to enhance their career, to enhance their ability to work in a diverse environment. So a little bit more information about the PhD students and also some links, very useful links for doctoral program examination and dissertation. The final step of the PhD work is dissertation, of course, that you have to write a dissertation and defend it publicly. On the qualifying exam, also the second part is a public event. So public is invited and you have to make a presentation before people and your committee and demonstrate that you're able to do or you're able to do research. And that's the point of a qualifying exam. And again, PhD is quite different than master's. You have to have the ability to go beyond what is on the text and what is written in a paper or what is written in a book. Be able to go beyond that, be creative in certain aspect, and do a scholarly work. And a scholarly work, good part of it is creative work. Okay, so let's get to the course registration instruction. This is probably of importance to you, and this causes the biggest stress for most of you. So I want to go through that so we are set. We should be set for the fall or summer semester. First of all, this acknowledgement of policies form. If you got an admission letter from me, you know that you have to go online and actually accept the offer. And then when you go through the registration process, some of you will have holds on your record. One of the hold is ISSO hold, that you have to deal with ISSO to remove that hold from your record. There are some academic holds that one of our advisors here, which I'm going to introduce, is going to be able to remove it for you. There are other holds, for instance, health hold. There could be something about TB test or something of that nature that you have to do. So there are several holds that eventually have to be removed before you can register. We have a website called Coursebook site. It lists all of the courses that we are offering for the fall 24. I don't believe it's live yet. Maybe it is, but shortly it's going to be live. You can actually go there and look at the courses we're offering. And you're filling a registration form, but remember that registration form requires the signature of your advisor. So when you meet with your advisor for the first time and come up with your degree plan and get a signature from your advisor, you also get a signature on your registration form. That is the only time you need that registration form signed. For the subsequent semesters, you can register yourself, and the signature of advisor is not required. And that is the issue, as I mentioned, to this problem, because we have had people just go register for whatever class they want without looking at their degree plan, just randomly, and then end up not having their courses count. And again, it is important to do that because there are courses in the CS department, for instance, we have a series of them, that are not accepted toward any degree. CS department offers incredible number of courses, but there's a series of classes designed for non-degree seeking individuals who want to learn about the concept. Some of these are very interesting about security, about AI, and so on and so forth. But those courses are not accepted by CS department toward a degree. So we cannot accept them either. So again, I keep repeating this, but you have to be extremely careful about courses you're signing up to make sure that it will count toward your degree at the end of the day. Okay, here's more information. And also, all of these things have to be mailed to the grad program. You receive an acknowledgement about the forms that have been received. And so again, the last statement is that you cannot register on your own. You have to have our help here to register. Here is the picture of all the advisors. You might ask, who is my advisor? Well, your advisor assigned to you by the first letter of your last name. So if your last name starts with A through M, would be Professor Randy Lehman. If it is N through Z, would be Professor Hines. Now, if you're on the CE side, Professor Kogan is A through H, Professor Schwartz I through Q, and Professor Tarkov R through Z. Now, here's the point. Some of the advisors may be busy dealing with a lot of students. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you are somehow, or whatever reason, cannot connect with your advisors. Don't wait until August 19 to decide, well, I haven't been able to talk to an advisor. Please make sure that you contact us in some form or shape. So these are the advisors. These are, as we mentioned, critical to your degree plan. Please remember the names, and of course the email addresses all can be found online. And by the way, there was a question. I will share my slides with everyone who's present here, so you can have that as well. Also, very important group of people here in my office. You have Patricia Williams, who deals with the applications, anything regarding your application or your commendation letters and so on and so forth. You deal with Patricia. We have Joshua Esparza and Kimberly High. These two folks will work with you throughout your stay here at UTD. If your name starts with last name A through K, deal with Josh, and L through Z is Kim. Here is Josh waving at you guys. So what these folks will do, they will register you for graduate classes. You take your registration form to them. If there are any issues with your degree plan and so on and so forth, they keep track, and they interact with the Office of Graduate Education. So they are your savior here. As I said, the worst thing to do is just keep us in the dark and continue working on your own. Please work with us, work with Joshua, work with Kimberly to make sure that everything is correct. Now, the point is, sometimes we do not know about all the policies. Sometimes certain things, exceptions happen, but both Josh and Kim are versed in this, and they can actually take it to people who know how to answer those questions. So please work with them, okay? And again, there's a difference between the academic advisor and Josh and Kimberly. They're advisors, but remember, for planning your degree plan, you need to work with your academic advisors that are more familiar with the courses you're taking. Okay. All right, so here's an example of a registration form. You can see that you have information about the course that you have to fill out. Once again, in the bottom, you have the signature of yours and advisor signature. As I said, this is for the first semester. It's required. You can't register without this. So, and this form is available again, and you can actually fill it out before you go to your advisor. I just have here a list of courses for fall. This may not be 100% accurate because there are some changes, but I just want to show you very briefly that we offer a large number of classes in graduate classes in different areas. So you should be able to take the courses that you need. But once again, remember, your eyes should be on the core classes. I need to take care of my core classes. That's the only thing you need to be worried about. And you can take a look at our fall and a spring calendar. I have been told it's possible, very difficult sometimes, to graduate in 3 semesters, including a summer semester. So is it possible? Well, yeah, you have 10 classes to take. You can take 3 courses in one semester, 3, maybe 4 classes in another, and 3 courses in the summer. Very tough schedule, but is it possible? It's possible. Now you can actually go to Coursebook, go back in the past, 3 years or 4 years, and they're showing you all the courses that are offered. And you can get a feel for what courses we offer and when we offer it. And there is a danger in that, of course. Summer classes are not guaranteed. UTD does not consider summer as a regular semester. So is it possible a course has been offered for the past 10 years? Now we don't offer it? Very well possible, very much possible. So we can't count on that. But this gives you an idea of how you can plan your courses and how you need to be on top of that in order to graduate in time. Okay, so as far as the holds are concerned, you will see that there could be a hold, registration hold, which one of the holds is about the acknowledgement of policies form, and there's some original documents that have to be submitted. I understand that some of you have submitted unofficial transcript, and some information is not there. The admission that was given to you is conditional admission until you provide the actual official copies. And I did mention about the exceptions and all the issues related to holds that you may have. So speak with Josh, Mr. Esparza, and he will deal with all of the holds, academic holds that you may have. Okay, so one thing that you have to always look into is the academic calendar. Academic calendar is our contract with you, in a sense. So whatever it says here goes. Whenever is the last day of class, I have to stop at that end. Every professor has to stop. Yes, professors cannot hold the class after the last day of classes. If there is exam period, the exam for final, the final cannot be outside that window. So it is our contract with you. But I want you to look at a couple of very important deadlines. And there is, I guess in this case, it says spring of 24, not the fall 24. But for instance, you have Census Day or last day to add and drop. please pay very close attention to that. We have had students who do not drop a class by the census day, and then they go and add another class. And what happens is that suddenly they have a rude awakening because now they have to pay for the class that they were planning to drop. And that is horrible, but that could happen. So if you're, as Jennifer pointed out, if you have a course that you have signed up, maybe you're somehow able to go through March 25 website registration, you registered for the class, you forgot about it. You go through your degree plan and then you sign up for a whole bunch of classes for fall, and you realize you have an extra class that you didn't drop. I understand this is pretty horrible, but university will hold you accountable. You have to pay full price for that course. So please read this very carefully and try to obey. This is also available online as well. So again, I talked about this degree plan. Notice that here I'm also talking about the final degree plan. The final degree plan takes place in the last semester you are here. And hopefully, if everything goes okay and you have followed that, this degree plan is going to be used to actually go through the Office of Graduate Education and get you certified for graduation. If they don't certify you for graduation, you're not graduating, regardless of what has happened, okay? PhD students are somewhat different. They have to submit a milestone agreement annually. And the reason is this, that PhD is a research-based. Again, very often when you take research, you get a pass grade. There's no letter grade assigned to that. So we like to learn where you are in your PhD work. Is a big journey. I call it a marathon. And as you can tell, in a marathon, you could be 1 mile, less than a mile from the finishing line, or it could be 1 mile after the starting line after 4 years. So we like to see where you are in that journey. And there is a limit. There's a limit of 10 years. If you are here for more than 10 years, you most likely will be dismissed. So we like to see that how you're progressing in your PhD work. Now, your advisors are conscientious enough to keep you on track, but there are extenuating circumstances. There are situations that students lose an advisor, the advisor leaves the university or passes away, and they switch advisors without knowing that your 10-year time limit, actually it's about 8 years time limit, includes your starting time. Whenever you started here, that's where the clock starts, regardless of what has happened. So please bear that in mind. Okay, let's see. So let's go over other important information. International student orientation and other resources, you have to go through that. I guess Jennifer explained that is mandatory to go through that orientation. Is not optional. And this orientation that you're going through will satisfy your requirement for attending orientation. And then useful links, we have information process, information pre-arrival, and all that good stuff that Jennifer talked about. Please spend some time and go through these links. We have some organization, Graduate Student Assembly is one of them, and the organizations like Indian Student Association and others. So it enhances your life. We have a very multicultural campus. We have students, fortunately, from all over the world. And this is what makes us very unique and very a wonderful place to study and get a graduate degree, because when you enter the workforce, it is going to be a multicultural workforce. So you learn to work with people here, take classes with them, do research with them. So these organizations help you in your stay here. I can emphasize how important it is to be connected as a graduate student to the graduate student body. So GAs and RAs, a scholarship and fellowship, money, right? That's the way people look at it. I have explained this to some of you who have contacted me. RA positions and TA positions are not awarded by the department per se. We do not offer RA positions, advisors or your research advisors or your faculty advisors offer that. So, so you are in the position, you haven't gotten your I-20, you need to get your I-20, and ISSO tells you that you need to show 1 year of support for yourself. So what happens is that you either have the funds to actually certify that you can support yourself for 1 year here, or you don't. If you don't, then the option would be to look at the RA position. For master's students, that's a little bit more difficult because most faculty like to work with the PhD students. That's not always the case. Some master's students have been able to get research assistantship, so I would not want to discourage you. But please understand that for a faculty who is investing in you, that's an investment in you. They like outcome, a good outcome in there. And PhD students are long-term students, and they spend more time and contribute more to the research programs than master students. Master students are short-term. But there are faculty who will support master students as well. So be in contact with those faculty in your area. I would suggest not sending a blanket email to every faculty. That usually gets deleted. Please find a faculty that is within your area of interest, and then describe to them how you can contribute to their lab. And when you're contacting the faculty about this, ask about TA and RA position. Now, TA positions or a teaching assistantship, it seems like it is department would offer it, which is true, but they offer the TA position to students based on the recommendation of a faculty. So you do have you need to have a faculty saying, I like to support this student, you know, for a teaching assistantship, and that's how you get your teaching assistantship. And was a difference between teaching and RA, a TA and RA. An RA just does research only. Teaching assistants do research as well. They're PhD students like anybody else, but they do have some teaching responsibility, which is they work 20 hours a week and then help with teaching labs, teaching classes, and you know, working with the faculty to meet the needs of the graduate classes, and also undergraduate classes. There are pros and cons to each one. Teaching assistants turn out to be more. They're much more able to deal with the difficult situations, dealing with the students. They have a better people skills. These are the skills that somebody who sits in the lab 18 hours a day may not develop. So there are pros and cons to each one. Of course, research assistantship, you do not have to deal with some of the issues, and you're doing research most of the time. So please work with the advisors. We work with people you have. Now, for PhD students, you do have an advisor already, if you have selected one. The advisor may or may not have funding. What I would not recommend is that choosing a faculty advisor that you're going to work with and trying to seek funding from another faculty. That's not an acceptable scenario, okay? So please be honest about that. You need funding. There's no way you can support yourself. Please make sure that the advisor knows that. And we are perfectly fine having you work with someone else to get funding. There's a fellowship. The fellowship link is open. If you go to our website under and then type in ECE Fellowship or Johnson Fellowship, the page come up, which has all this information about teaching assistant, research assistantship, and fellowship. The fellowship is not a huge amount of money. It's $1,000. That's all. However, it will make your tuition in state, which is a significant change. So, but I don't want to give the false impression that this is available to everyone. We have less than 20 positions usually. So considering that we have hundreds of applicants, it's very, very competitive. Okay. And again, these are the links that exist. I would suggest looking at them. If you're submitting an application for that, please bear in mind GPA is one issue, but other things are considered. There are other crucial factors, If you had accomplishments that you'd like to talk about, that's the place to do it. Okay, so in this waiver of prerequisite, I talked about this a little bit. I'm going to reemphasize that. There is an official process. You can't just show up to a class that has a prerequisite and you don't have it. In fact, I believe the registrar may stop you. You go to register for a class and they say, we couldn't find the prerequisite for you. Now, we do have international students here, and I know we have a lot of international students. Your undergraduate record is not available in our system. And the courses that you have taken have not been mapped out to the courses in UTD. If you're a student from UTD, it's very easy to check to see if you have the prerequisite. If you're an international student, that's not so much, that's not so easy. So you fill out the form and work with the professor that is teaching the class. He or she can actually take a look and see the courses you had as an undergraduate match the prerequisite that you need. And as I mentioned, there are other extenuating circumstances. For instance, as I mentioned, you're in RF field, you're trying to get RF class. It turns out that you didn't have EMAG. That's 4301. That is the introduction to EMAG, electromagnetism in undergraduate here. But it turns out that you have had years of experience working as an RF engineer. Now, your professor for the class may actually decide to waive that prerequisite, but it's between you and the professor that is actually teaching the class. But the form is available here as well. And again, you can save yourself a lot of time by just following this guideline, because people very often try to do it last minute. They try to, actually to get the prerequisite taken care of, and it turns out that we have a time constant. There is a delay. By the time you can find the form, fill it out, get people's signature on it, it may be after the add and drop period for the class. Transfer of credit. This is important because we have had students that they have some master's level classes taken. How does that work? Well, essentially, you can transfer up to 25%. A strange number, 25%. It turns out to be 7.5 semester credit hours. Well, that is about 2 classes. That's all. So you can transfer 2 classes from another university or another program for your master's degree. This also gives you some freedom. For instance, let's say you are trying to graduate in time, but the courses that you need are not offered. Is it possible for you to go to another university, not outside United States, but or outside Texas, perhaps somewhere here, and take those 2 classes in the summer? That's allowed. You can do that and transfer it back to us. So that's a possibility, and that works. If you're a PhD student and you already have a master's degree, you can transfer up to 36 credit hours to your PhD, because remember, you had 76 hours. So this is part of that 70 odd number of hours that you need. If you are a PhD student, which is you do not have a master's degree, or some direct PhD, I'm sure you have heard this by now, but you do have to complete 30 hours of coursework. So it's not that you have completed, you have actually bypassed taking the MS level classes. You need to take 30 semester credit hours. And some students choose to actually earn a master's degree while they're doing their PhD. That's also acceptable. And also about the transfer credit, there's a form here that you can actually use to transfer those hours. Again, it has to be approved by the university, and it has to be approved by the classes you're trying to replace. So the instructor for those classes have to approve it. Okay, change of concentration. This is really a problem because we have had people who in the middle of their degree, they want to change concentration, and they think all the courses they took in the other concentration will count toward the new one. And then quickly we find out that core classes, you can take the core classes, but when you switch concentration, some of the electives may not count. So that is not that I'm discouraging from changing concentration. I'm encouraging you to give it a good, give it a good maybe a couple of weeks of thinking, and make sure that you choose the concentration that you think you're going to complete. So give a good shot at it. Now, having said that, it's always things happen. You come here and you realize you don't like this concentration, but please bear in mind that may add to your number of semesters of staying here as you switch concentration. Definitely do it with an advisor. Do not do it on your own. Do not create a major problem later on, because when it comes to your graduation, OGE, Office of Graduate Education, will look at your degree plan that you entered and look at what catalog year you entered in. Now, if you have made changes in between, it will be a problem there, because they will ask us to do a petition, and depending on what the complications are, you may not be able to graduate. So, and this happened in the case of computer engineering because we made a major change to the concentration, and there are students from old concentration or old catalog that want to use the new catalog, and that required petitioning. So the bottom line is that please be in touch with your advisors, be in touch with your academic advisors as you make changes in your discipline. And again, if you're admitted to the PhD without a master's degree, please work with your advisor to finish those classes. It's not that it's a good idea. It is actually required. You do not, you are not a PhD student until you finish those master level classes. Now, technically, you can do research, you can work with your advisor, but you need to take those classes to be qualified. Okay. All right, so internship, this is of great deal of interest to many of you, I do understand. We have a great internship program. Almost all of our students receive internship. So there are pros and cons to it. It can distract from your studies, but the purpose of internship is not to just for you to find employment, is to be complementary to education here. There are things we can do here, and there are things that you can do in an industry that would complement your education. So please look at it from that perspective. On our website, there is a internship link. You can actually go through that and see what the requirements are. You have to file a application to do that. And this is not the curricular practical training or CPT. This is for once you have completed your degree. So internship can be done during the semesters. It will be considered as a course that you're taking. And even though you may be somewhere else doing the internship, many of our students do internship, I guess, outside during summer outside Texas. So that is possible as well. Here are some numbers about Johnson School. Professor Bhatia pointed that established in 1986, we are infant compared to some other universities that have been around for 200 years. But in that short amount of time, we have achieved incredible status. Now, you can see that ECS has about 6,954. This numbers, by the way, is a bit old, but gives you the picture. You can see that for MS degree and PhD degree, we almost have the same number. So that's very interesting because most universities have a larger master's program. So we are a very research-oriented university, having all these PhD students. As far as faculty is concerned, we have 39 tenure track faculty and 17 professor of instructions. We have 13 IEEE floats. That's a very good number. We had 150 students got internship in 2022, 2023. So that's a large number. Now, if you look at, we have 280 students and 150 of them got an internship. That's a significant percentage. bear in mind that there are some students who do not wish to have internship. They like to finish their degree. So that's one reason. As far as ranking is concerned, CE is the 52nd. It's kind of a newer program. Nationwide, 32nd among public universities and third public university in this Texas. For EEMT, I suppose, we are 29th. We are 29th in the state of in the public universities, and we are 54th. We are almost top 50 nationwide, which is you have to remember that the size matters. Berkeley's of the world, UCLA's of the world, Michigan's of the world are huge in size. So given that our size is quite small, this is a great accomplishment. Top employments, I don't have enough rooms for all the logos of the companies that hire from us, ranging from Qualcomm to Intel to Micron, Microsoft, almost any company that you can imagine. We get a number of our students go to Qualcomm as well as Intel. So there is a great deal of opportunity for expanding your horizons. It is not just education, but also in the academic sense, is education in terms of learning from people in practice. Okay. As far as American Society of Engineering Education report in 2019, number of MS given is 9th, and in NCE and 32nd nationwide. We actually are number 2 in the OPT program in the country, which is kind of quite interesting. There's a link here for you guys to look at. Well, OPT is an important aspect of your education. Now, very often, the students who complete their degree and go through OPT, they are hired by the companies that they are doing the optional practical training. It's not that this is an employment issue, but that means that your preparation and your involvement in OPT enabled you to be at a level that U.S. employers would like to hire you. So, okay. Computer accounts, one thing I like to encourage you to do, have your computer account set up. We communicate with you through your UTD email. There was an unfortunate situation of one student who had received a scholarship, but had put the email address, personal email address, and was expecting to receive an email there, and never received the email that we send them to his UTD email about the fact that he has received a scholarship. This can cost you significantly. So please check your UTD email. And if you have any problem, these are the people to contact, assist, or you can call them. You have to have your computer account set up, and you receive email from us through that. And again, as I said, all official communication through the utdallas.edu email. It's not that we do not have time to send you to every email there is. The issue is this, that we are obligated to use UTD email for official university business. So if you're offered an assistantship, if you're offered a scholarship, we will use that email. We're not going to go hunt down your personal email to send that email to you. All the computer labs, depending on what you're doing, if you're a teaching assistant, will enable you to contact them or access them through your comment card. So, all right. So I want to talk a little bit about academic dishonesty and plagiarism. This is a very sensitive issue. UTD has a very strict policy about keeping the academic honesty in check. We do understand that people sometimes make mistakes. They're tempted to do what is called academic dishonesty. And a definition of that is given into Office of Community and Standards. I really expect you to go and read this. We do have a process in place. Our faculty and teaching assistants are very well versed in identifying academic dishonesty. And this can range from copying a lab report, copying a homework assignment, and the consequences are pretty severe. if you're caught with doing any kind of a misconduct of this nature, you'll be sent to a committee that will investigate academic dishonesty. This committee consists of faculty and students. And the issue is this, that once you are found responsible, that information stays in your record for 5 to 7 years. Now, I know that most of you are here to educate yourselves and hoping that perhaps you can find employment. And no employer is going to hire you if there's an academic dishonesty on your record. And yes, the companies will ask you to a background check. You can essentially say no, and they will not offer you anything. They just shake your hands and ask you to leave. They want to see your background, and they come and check with us, and they look at that record. And does not say essentially does not say much about you if you are found responsible for academic dishonesty. If I'm trying to hire you and put you in a lab with $10 million equipment, I like to trust you, and the trust is gone when such a thing is on your record. So the bottom line is that it's not worth it. And I understand people in different cultures behave differently. In some cultures, working together on a homework assignment is perfectly okay. Or doing a project together and sharing data and information is okay. We are in 21st century. We are in 2024. So I should be able to do that. These are all not acceptable. You are here to get a degree. Your degree must be your degree based on your work. And you're not handed a diploma saying that Mr. X got a diploma along with Mr. Y, Mrs. Z, and X and Y and Z. You're getting a degree that has your name on it. So that is very important. I really encourage you to go to these links and read carefully what it is considered as academic dishonesty. All right, so on a brighter note, if you do not have a laptop, we have laptop loaner programs. So if you're a semester student here, you can loan a laptop from us. Please let us know if you're interested in doing that. Ms. High or Mr. Esparza are the people to contact if you're interested. But I believe Joshua Esparza is the one that handles all the requests for laptops. Okay. We do a lot of things electronically, and for that purpose, because we can keep track of information. Please comply with that. Yes, you can print your registration form and bring it over, but we rather that you do it electronically. If you're sending it electronically, it's easier for us to file it. It is easier to track when you submitted it, if you submitted before deadline or after deadline. So it's important to do it electronically. Also, when we are in this topic of forms and all that, I really encourage you to give us time, okay? For instance, if it's a census day or whatever, you haven't something due by 5 p.m., don't show up here at 4:55 and expect everything to go smoothly. Very often the forms you bring us, the things that you bring us for us to process require signature of multiple people. And let's say you're bringing a form to Joshua and say, I need this to be filed, but I don't have all the signatures. Can you get it for me, or can you help me? Well, if I'm not there, I may not be there. I'm not there to sign it, and you miss the deadline. That responsibility is with you. Showing up here 5 minutes before deadline does not mean that that's going to get processed. So please give us time. I would say for any deadline, give us at least a week. Come show up here to make sure that we can handle this. You are not the only student here. Let's put it this way. There are many students, so we need to be able to get to you and accommodate your needs. There are online resources for graduate students. These are the links for them. They're very useful. Please use them and take a look at them. And that's all the slides I had. So I'm going to stop here and open the floor for questions. So if you're asking questions, please unmute your microphone. And I don't know the chat or the questions in the chat. Let me take a look at chat. Okay. Okay, the question is actually from Joshua. Let me answer that question about PhD advisors. So let me repeat that. When you're admitted, you're not assigned an advisor. You have to work with, very often PhD students work with the faculty and get a commitment from the faculty to support them. That faculty automatically becomes the advisor for the student. If you do not have funding and you are not interested in getting funding, but it still cannot get any faculty to work with you, I can be your advisor for first few semesters at least, what this you get through your qualifying exam until you get to know faculty and get an actual permanent faculty. Okay.
Good evening, sir. This is Akshay here.
I'm sorry, is there a question?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, in the previous slide, I saw a line on RSVP. I didn't understand what was that RSVP. I joined a bit late and I saw some chats in the chat box also. Did not see RSVP. I did not. So what was RSVP?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't catch the question you were asking.
The previous slide, I saw a line on RSVP. Can I know what is RSVP?
RSVP?
Yeah, so last time. Yeah, 70-second slide.
Second slide.
70 seconds, 72.
72. Okay.
In the below last one.
Yeah, when you got an admissions letter, there is a link for RSVP for web form. There has to be one there. If you haven't received that for RSVP, let me know. I'm going to have our staff here actually send you that. If you're admitted, you should have received the link for accepting the offer. Okay.
But I received my I-20 also.
Well, your I-20, where did you miss the first part, right? Have you worked with ISSO to get to I-20? You have to apply for. Again,
I got it.
Yeah, you got your I-20. Okay. Okay, so let me finish on that question of, I think I prefer, instead of reading all these questions back and forth, please ask your questions, use your microphone to ask it. But for the PhD advisor, important to note that if you don't have a PhD advisor picked or found any advisor, I can be your advisor for the first 3 semesters, because then I keep repeating 3 semesters, because that's the period you have to pass your qualifying exam. If you don't pass your qualifying exam, you will be dismissed from the university. So I will work with you until you find an advisor. But you do need a PhD advisor that works with you and complete your degree with that. There's a question about the slides. We didn't send you slides. So if you say I have not received my slides, as I mentioned, these slides will be mailed to you guys, as well as a link for the recording after the meeting is over. I try to share these slides on the chat, but let me see. I probably will do it. Just give me a minute. Okay. The question why you're giving laptop to students, is that Kashif? So Kashif, shouldn't we give laptop to you? You're not interested in laptop? That's a strange question. Well, because some students may not be able to afford a laptop. So we've decided that if that is the barrier that you have, we will loan you a laptop. That's the reason. Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so on the website, it was written like, if you have my master's, that means probably you have 30 credits already, then you have to take extra 2 courses for the PhD. But here in your slide, that means that you have to take at least 36 credit hours. But in this one of these slides, I saw a maximum of 36 credit hours from masters probably can already be transferred. So 30 credit hours can be transferred in maximum, or 36 according to these slides?
It's 30 actually. You can transfer 30. That 36 was because some people have a master's program, master's degree, 36. Let me mention about that 2 classes for PhD. Those 2 classes have to be from UTD. So you may have taken 80 hours outside for whatever reason. You have taken so many classes, but for your PhD, a part of a qualifying exam, the first 2 classes, this should be taken at UTD for the part 1 of qualifying exam. But for masters, 30 hours is good enough. So you can transfer 30 hours, you should be fine. Okay.
Okay, actually I did 2 masters, that's why I asked.
Right, sure. So, okay, if you have done 2 masters, you say, well, I have 30 hours, I'm transferring 60 hours. I only need 14 hours to graduate, get my PhD. Doesn't work like that. It's a 30 hours maximum you can transfer, or 36 in this case. But the rest has to be research hours. And again, PhD degree is not an hour degree. If I reach 74, give me my PhD. Doesn't work like that. You have to complete a dissertation. You have to do a significant amount of work. You have to have a scholarly publication. These things do not happen just by signing up for hours. So that is the difference. Okay, any other questions?
Hi, sir. This is Shanmuka. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sir, is it possible to take courses? For example, I'm really interested in the course called VLSI Design and VLSI Testing, and I've received the admit from electrical engineering. So I can take courses from the other graduate programs under the same department, correct?
Well, you're seeing other programs. We have a VLSI concentration, right? So you
Correct.
can, yeah, so you have that. If you look at, depends on what degree plan you choose. I mean, if I go back here to degree plans, let's see if I can get to that. So let's say I have a degree plan here. You tell me which one, let's say in this case, you have chosen circuits, let's say. You can see that you have electives on the left side, and can these electives be, one of them be VLSI class? We have a list of courses which shows for that particular discipline, there's a concentration. So for instance, for devices circuits concentration, we have a list of courses we accept. And you can take courses from that, 6 courses from that. But having said that, is it possible to take a course that is not listed as an approved class? If it's a course accepted by other concentrations, we will take that into consideration. Your advisor can sign off on it. Also, we have down here an ECS class. That means you can take any class in the Johnson School of Engineering and Computer Science, meaning you can take a course in mechanical engineering if your advisor accepts it. So we have some room there. But generally speaking, there's enough room for people to take classes in different disciplines. But usually we like you to take core classes plus the approved electives for your concentration.
Understood, sir. And sir, when can we have this meeting with our advisors?
It's between you and him. You need to get on find the email of your advisor, which is actually there in the presentation. You have the names. Contact your advisor, send them an email. They can do an online probably meeting with you, but do understand that everybody else is trying to do the same. So you meet your advisor, fill out your degree plan, and fill out your registration form. And I think you should be good to go. Now, remember, some of you have holds. You can't register until those holds have been removed. Now, some of these holds are easy to remove. Some of them are not. ISSO hold means we have to go through the orientation for ISSO. There are holds health issues. Those are not easy to remove. You have to be here and do testing. So there are some things that have to be done before you can register.
Sir, I have another question. Sir, so
Okay,
the
last one, because I have other people's hands up too. Okay, the last one, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sir, so the degree plan and the registration has to be done before March 25th, is it?
If you are going to register by March 25th, you're going to have to register by March 25th. Regular
Right.
registration starts in August or July or August. So we have different times to register. The issue is that sometimes courses fill out. We do not have that problem as much as CS department does. Our classes don't get filled that easily or that fast. But yes, there are some courses that can fill out. If you can manage to remove all the holds, you can register by 25th.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I have some hands up here.
Hello.
Let's start from the
Hello.
top. Yeah, Prague.
Yeah. Sir, I just wanted to know that can we contact our advisors immediately after this orientation for the appointment for regarding the course fill-ups?
I just said that, right? Yes,
Actually,
yes, you
sorry, sir,
can.
the
Yes, you
connectivity
can.
issue is here.
Right, right.
Okay,
But remember,
sir.
we can't register until all the holds have been removed.
Okay, so how can I check my holes? Like I was checking my holes right now only. I wasn't able to see my holes like I-20 form something.
Well, whatever hold they are, I don't know what they are. I don't know what hold they have on you. This appears on Galaxy whenever you can see what the holds they are, and then you have to deal with them. If it's I-20 hold, of course, until you get your I-20, that hold will exist there, right? So just work with, find out what they are. If it's academic hold, Joshua Esparza can help you remove it. If it is financial hold, if it is health related issue, if the all this, because you have to go through some stuff before you can actually show up here on campus. But those you have to deal with those.
Sir, can you tell me the deadline for the registration of the courses? Like, till when can I register for the courses before my classes start out?
Do you have access to internet? Do you have access to internet?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, if you just go to say to Google, because people ask this question and I have to look at it myself. So and then say UTD calendar 2024. And it would come up with a calendar and you can actually see it for it's a spring 24, for the fall 24. I guess the registration, the web registration starts March 20, available March 25th. It has an appointment along with it, so you have to have an appointment. But regular registration, last day or last registration, I guess last day for regular registration is August 15th. So you got to get everything done before August, because of course classes start August 19th. So I imagine that you'll be here 30 days before that. So so you can make sure that you meet the deadline.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
I have
So
one more question.
okay, I guess the next person is Shamuka.
Hi, sir. I've already asked my questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. Then lower your hands, please, because then how about Lou, Nan Lou?
Hi, Professor. Thanks for your thorough explanation. I do have one question regarding of the residency status change, because I think when I read the qualification items, I feel like I'm no longer be qualified as an international student, and I do believe I do have the proof to prove that my residency.
Right.
So
I would rather you don't read it openly here, because maybe private information. If you believe you no longer have status of international student, send the email to ISSO. If you recall, Jennifer Garcia went through gave you a couple of links. They have a chat as well. They have so chat with them. If they need a document, send them document as far as residency is concerned. Now, so you are saying that you're U.S. citizen or permanent resident? Which one are you?
Permanent resident.
Okay, so you don't need to get a visa. I'm not sure that's even valid at this point. But so if you have a green card, there is no reason to deal with ISSO. But you can chat with them and see what is it that they require. They don't have to issue you an I-20. If you are a U.S. Citizen or permanent resident, no I-20 is needed for you because there's no visa needed for you. Correct?
Right, because I think they told me they will have this certain time session for adjustment, but I just don't know when do I.
Well, I
You
mean,
know, it's
again,
a
this
time
is something
to
you need to work with ISSO because
Gotcha.
if you do not have, by the time the school starts, you do not have the document verified or document available, you will still be considered as an international student. You still have to get a visa to come here. In fact, it's just the issue of coming here, correct? So if you're here in the US, I-20 is needed for you to issue a new visa. But if you are coming from abroad, you won't make it here. You won't get a visa. So there's that the point is mute. So if are you here in US or you are somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean Richardson.
You're in US. So your status is changing. So again, you need to work with the consulate and also you work with ISSO, see what they need. Because as far as UTD is concerned, you still have a hold, ISSO hold on your record. So you can't register until you remove that, correct?
Right.
So please work with them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, Arif.
Yes. So actually, I had a question about the PhD advisor. So the advisor, once I was looking at the faculty page, I was thinking that for the computer engineering, I should contact only the ECE advisors. But now through this discussion, I am thinking probably computer engineering PhD is more of a CS department.
No, that's
So
not
how
correct. That's not correct. Let me please do not give wrong information. CE advisors or EE faculty is Diana Kogan, Marco Talca. These are EE faculty. ECE department, CE department sits inside of the ECE department. We have nothing to do with the CS. Okay, and so those are the advisors, all are EE faculty.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I have unknown user. You know who you are, so your hand is up.
Hello, dear professor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I have a question about the best way to find an advisor. You know, I've already sent some emails to professors, but I haven't received any answer. Would you please help
are you
us to
PhD student or master student?
Yes. I'm a PhD student.
Okay.
And I need his or her support. I mean, financial support for my I-24. So I'm searching for an advisor. Would you please help me?
Okay. So I don't know what I can tell you. I can't force people to do things, right? So that's the difficult part of PhD. Be able to sell your ideas. You know, be able to find somebody who says this student is good enough that I can invest in them. That's the most misunderstood part of PhD degree. Just applying and getting admitted does not mean that you're going to be able to find an advisor. Typically we do, and the students who are admitted are good enough that they can do research, but you have to keep looking. I would say continue trying to work with the faculty. What area are you what is your area of interest?
Mostly, I do research in the field of power engineering. Also, I have hands-on experience and also research on the control systems, power electronics, and renewable energies. These are my fields.
So, you know, we have a good group of people here that do power engineering. I guess, I don't know how many people you have contacted, but do you get any feedback from them or not?
I just received 2 feedbacks from professors that they told me that we don't have enough positions for you. but I haven't received any positive feedback from it.
Right. I mean, that's a
yeah.
possibility. Money is very difficult. I mean, people don't realize that each PhD student costs about $40,000 a year. That's a lot of
Yes.
money if you think about it. So, so you know, faculty members may not have the funding to support you. I don't want to sound cynical, but education costs money. Many people assume that they should not pay anything because they are a PhD student. Education always costs money, but yeah, there are situations that faculty has a lot of funding, can hire a lot of people, and funding also is area dependent. One day, fiber optic communication was the, talk of the town. There were tons of money in that area, so we hired a lot of people. Now nobody funds fiber optic communication. So what happens if you're in that area? So your area seems to be a good area, power and energy, but unfortunately, I can't tell you anything beyond that. Now, you do understand that there are faculty members in the mechanical engineering department who have a joint appointment or affiliate appointment with the ECE. It is perfectly okay to work with them. So you don't have to be a mechanical engineering student. You can be an electrical engineering student, but have a faculty who has affiliated connection with the ECE. And I know there's some power faculty in the power and renewable energy that are in the mechanical. So I would look at mechanical engineering department, see if there are any faculty that would be able to support you. And obviously check with us, check with me, and ask the faculty you're working with if they have affiliation with the ECE. Affiliation is not automatic, but they have to apply. But a good number of mechanical engineering faculty, as far as I know, have affiliation with ECE, so they can supervise you as well. Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Sure. Okay. I don't know if I'm answering all the questions. Any questions I have not answered? Now, Joshua has posted a couple of links on the chat. Please, those are very useful links, so please use them. I'm trying to see if I can share my slides, but if I can share the slides here, let's see. Does it seem like I can share my slides here? But what we would do is that if you receive the invitation from us, that means we have your email address. Utam is my assistant. He will email you the link. Actually, the file is large, so and it's a streamed, I guess. So he will send a link for viewing the streaming. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop recording and see. Guess maybe we already stopped recording. Any
Professor
questions?
Chiasale?
Yes.
I have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so based on the information you presented during the session, I just wanted to make sure that I got the details correct. So I'm a PhD student and I already have a supervisor. So for the degree plan and for any academic planning that I'm going to do in the future, I'm going to need his signature, and my supervisor is going to be who's going to decide what courses I take and what research I'm going to conduct. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct. Your life depends on him. He does everything for you. And remember, even if he doesn't, you need to remember that you are required to take 2 classes, and I recommend taking it in the first semester and taking a research hours with him, because that would allow you to get to know him and he get to know you. And then in the second semester, go ahead and take the trying the second part of QE, because if you fail the QE, you have one more chance. so you can take it in the third semester. Now, very often faculty members are so busy, PhD students are not following the procedure, they are forgetting about this, and then third semester trying to take the qualifier, they fail the qualifier, and then they're not going to get the next chance. So
All right.
I'm mentioning that because even though you're going to have a faculty advisor, he or she must manage everything for you and work with you to get everything filed correctly.
All right. And as far as the concentration area goes, so I have two issues. One, is there any website, spreadsheet, or file where we can see all the necessary courses for each concentration area, as well as all the prerequisites, and when the courses are offered, what is their timing?
You ask many questions. Okay, let's go one at a time. You're a PhD student, right?
Yes.
You don't have a degree plan. You don't get to take any courses, just 2 classes. That's it. The rest can be research, everything can be research. Now, concentration areas are there. You can actually go download them from our website. There are courses there, and for every course you see there, if you just type in that name at the number for the course in our website, it will come up with the catalog description and the prerequisite for it. I don't have a big sheet of showing all the prerequisites. There's no need for that. Everything is online. Now, as far as the courses being offered, we don't have that in one place because every semester is different. Every semester there are some slight changes. So the only thing you have is the course book that actually shows past several years of courses that are being offered. You can go to course book and just simply look at some, let's say, fall of 23, and then basically look at all the courses.
All right. So actually, and this is
Please,
kind of
one person at a time. I don't know. Somebody's microphone went on, so please one microphone at a time. Okay, go ahead.
So, and this is my kind of last question. Actually, I'm admitted directly into the PhD program without a master's degree, so
Right.
I still need to take some courses regardless. Now, I heard you mention that for the first semester, the registration is going to be automatically done by the department, and we students are not supposed to register for the classes
No,
ourselves.
hold on. Nothing is done automatically. You have to get our approval to register. That's the difference. From the following semesters, you can just sign up for classes on your own. For the first semester, we have to have that registration form signed by your advisor. And again, to answer your question, if you don't have a master's and you want to get a master's in the process, I would suggest choose a concentration area. Now, what is your research area?
My research area falls in my degree is actually computer engineering, but my research is at the intersection of machine learning and artificial intelligence on one hand, as well as hardware security and hardware systems on another.
Okay, so it's 2 separate areas. So the point is that we have 2 concentration in CE. Choose one of them that is closest matches your interest. And I would suggest staying with that and get your academic advisor, I'm talking about your research advisor, to sign off on that degree plan, because you like to get a master's degree. You can't you can't complete 30 hours randomly and say, well, what do I do with this? We can't give you an MS degree on that. Because at the end of the day, your degree has to comply within one of the 5 areas, right? The concentration areas. So make sure you take courses according to those concentration areas.
All right. So all I need to do initially is to get the approval from the department to enroll, and also get my degree plan signed by my thesis advisor.
So again, I want to repeat this. You meet with your research advisor, whoever it is, right? Sit down with that person, find out what you need to be taking the first semester. I would suggest taking 2 classes that is related to your research, but also maybe fits one of those concentration areas. And then 3 hours of research. Your advisor will sign the form, you sign the form, that's a registration form. Also a degree plan, you can at the same time work with the advisor to get a degree plan for your MS degree. That's a different story. That's not part of your PhD. So you can do that simultaneously with your advisor, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Next one is Megana. Okay. How about Abhishek. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Meghana?
Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Yes, we
Am I
can hear
audible?
you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I got admitted into PhD under Professor Andrew Fumagalli for the summer admission, and I got all the I-20